A virus that changed the world. A local student with a need for speed. And bacon? I mean the stock show. This is iTiger News.
The year 2020 started off like any other. World War III on the edge of existence, massive wildfires around the globe. And then, someone coughed, and thus began a pandemic. Coronavirus became a serious matter not only in the United States, but as the planet as a whole. We entered an era where the world will never be the same. Our school closed due to the national quarantine, and we were all moved to online learning, something our campus has previously never experienced. Businesses began closing from the public. A mask mandate was established. America was ordered to stay inside at all times if possible. This lockdown created a supply shortage that resulted in public outrage and panic. And for those who need help jogging their memory, we went through a toilet paper shortage. The year was heavily shapen by COVID and has continued to do so till this day. We experienced some strange things that year, such as riot and killer bees. But it wasn't all that bad. McDonald's came out with Travis Scott burger.
Not gonna lie, that was pretty cool, I think.
As a community, we have been lucky enough to not experience the severity of COVID like many other parts of the country. Kitty County was untouchable to COVID and remained as one of the few places in the state that remained to be unaffected by COVID. But it was inevitable that it would eventually make its way. The fall semester of 2020 ended by going back and forth between in-classes and online learning. After the winter break, the 2021 semester began with similar circumstances, starting with online classes. However, our town entered a crisis that felt more personal than COVID itself.
On Valentine's Day, a cold front blew in stronger than any cold front we've experienced that winter. With it came snow, something we don't see very often. After just a few hours of snow, the power went out in our town. The blackout contributed to water not working in Brackettville. Homes not built to withstand the cold had to endure freezing temperatures. This wasn't just a problem for us in town, but a problem that affected the whole state, where even cities as large as Houston were covered with snow and without power. Pipes were vulnerable to bursting, and the blackout continued to be a problem in Brackett for days.
And Spofford.
By the end of the week, another wave of snow blew through and painted the whole town in a snowy scenery. The town remained without electricity for several hours during this week. This event will be remembered by the townspeople here and everywhere else in Texas for the rest of our lives.
As the snow melted and the sun shined through, our world began to feel more normal. Cases dropped down to a level safe enough for businesses to reopen. Mask requirement eased up and school became 100% in person in many places. We finished off the year with sports returning, crowds and pep rallies were carried out as if life was normal again. We haven't returned to full normalcy, but we're getting closer every day.
And with all that, let us welcome you to the new year of 2022.
New year, new beginnings.
And after many years, we are back with your trustworthy news for Brackett ISD.
And in this school year, we welcome a new secondary vice principal with open arms.
One of our reporters was able to speak with Mr. Vining on his experiences in Brackettville so far.
We'll show that clip now.
Let's see how that went.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Graylin Vining, Jr. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin?
Sure. What would you like to know?
What's your name?
Graylin Vining Jr.
Okay. And one of my first questions I would like to begin with is, what do you think about being a part of a small town community such as Brackettville?
It puts me in the mindset of my family because I have such a large family. Brackett is very small. They're kind of, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have tons of nieces, nephews, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters here in the forms of my students and my employees and my colleagues. So, it's just a big family.
All right, awesome. My second question is, what led you to education to begin with? Because you were a teacher for about 10 years, right?
I taught in the classroom for 10 years before going into administration. So what actually led me to education is I needed to declare a major. And if I wanted to graduate on time, I needed to declare a major. I wanted to initially be a lawyer, but I wasn't argumentative. And so I was discouraged into going into law, and education was kind of next on the list. I've always been a teacher, to a certain extent, but I decided to take it on professionally.
All right. And as a follow-up to that question, so teacher for 10 years, and now you are vice principal of Brackett ISD. So how does it feel, and what do you like about being on the administrative side of things?
That I have an opportunity to still closely identify with my teachers. It gives me the opportunity to be the transitional person between student and parent, or teacher and principal, teacher and school board. I'm just that liaison.
Mm-hmm.
That's ultimately what my job is, serving.
All right, and we are in our spring semester right now. You've been here for about 6 months, right?
Roughly, yes, sir.
Roughly 6 months. So what was one of your favorite highlights from last semester?
Getting to know the students, building those relationships. I didn't know anyone here, so it was making those introductions, looking through discipline files to see what I was getting myself into.
We got to know each other very well.
Absolutely, quite well. But ultimately, it's just getting to know the students, getting to know the community. That's ultimately what my first semester here was like.
All right. And I guess to end it on a positive note, what are some things you were really looking forward to in the year 2022?
I'm excited to see the growth that all of my students will have. A lot happens between August and May. There's a lot that happens between August and December, between your 8th grade year to your 9th grade year, your junior year to your senior year. I'm just excited to see that growth in all of the students and how they will return for the 2022-2023 school year.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Vining. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Yes, sir.
Back to you.
Our next story features one of our very own Tigers, who through hard work and dedication showed us that we can achieve our goals.
Abraham, Abe the Babe, the kid with the need for speed. Thank you for joining with me today in this iTiger News Student Showcase exclusive. Last semester you competed in the cross country at the state level and won. You caught the attention of not only the community but of lots of recruiters who gave you the opportunity to sign for them to be their team. What does it feel like to accomplish a goal that you've been striving and working for so long?
Well, I feels really great because I've been working since 7th grade, and this is everything I ever wanted. And now that it's all here, I want to keep going with it.
What has been the driving force behind your fierce athleticism?
Well, I just think about everyone else in the state. Like, if you want to perform in front of hundreds of people at the state level, you gotta outwork hundreds of people before you consider doing anything. So that's what drives me forward. Like every time I don't want to work out or I'm not feeling 100%, I just think about the others in the state that can be working harder than me.
I see what you're saying. All right. Which do you like more, long distance running or more track, shorter distance related?
Probably track related. Sprinting just because I have more speed than endurance. So like the 800, that's kind of like a full on sprint and it has a little bit of endurance in it. So that's kind of me right there.
And are you planning for a career in athletics after graduating college or high school?
Yeah, so the goal is to, go in Division I in college, and I'm gonna strive to get a Nike deal. Then I know I can get that because I haven't been exposed to any good training or mileage, and I haven't had any competition here. And I know at the college level, when I have good training and people to run against, then I know I can do something great.
Thank you for joining with us today, and we all look forward to your success. I'm Diego, reporting for iTiger News. Back to the studio. On January 8th, students from BISD competed in the Kinney County Junior Stock Show. The event is a staple in this community, and iTiger News was available to get a closer look.
Pigs, sheep, and rabbits, oh my, these animals and mechanics were all the rave as students showcased their project at this year's stock show. In preparation of this event, each student worked hard on what the judges would look for in each project: showmanship, the overall structure and look of the animal, and how well each student was able to work with the animal's behavior. Based on these observations and inspection, the judge, who is selected by the board members, determines who qualifies for the grand champion and reserve champion. After the showing, the event has a brief intermission for lunch and concluded with an auction. All the money that is contributed to the auction is donated that can go towards next year's projects or college funds. This year's stock show ended a little differently than previous years. In honor of his retirement, Mr. Edwards received a couple of gifts for his many years as an educator in helping students achieve success in this beloved event. This is Marissa Turner reporting for iTiger News. Back to the studio.
That was wild and wildly successful. Congratulations to those that participated and those who have won. Before we close out, we have a couple of announcements.
Please do your individual part to stay healthy. If you are symptomatic, ill, or not feeling well, do not come to school and call our school nurse, Nurse Molinar. School provides COVID tests, and you can now order tests provided by the government.
Hey man, is that a hole? Oh, great heavens! Hey, don't bring holy clothes to school.
Save it for Sunday.
Let me in. Let me in! Is this you?
Let me in. Tired of waiting around, waiting for someone to open the door.
That's why you have this.
With its new ergonomical and ethically sourced design to fit right over your head.
Don't be a drag and wear your tag.
So you gonna let me in? No.
We're excited to be back as your trustworthy news team for BISD. I'm Sergio Sanchez.
I'm Tyler Bettis.
And I'm Diego Solis. Join us next time, and thank you for watching iTiger News.